Hello and welcome to the channel, everybody. This is going to be our look ahead at the week of October 15th, 2023. This is going to be for all signs as usual. This week's kind of special because it features the return of a very special deck, the Egyptian Nouveau Tarot. This came out back in August, and I have a flip through of it on the channel that I will link so you can watch that if you'd like, if you want a more detailed look at the deck. Otherwise, this has been really the first time it's made an appearance in quite a while. Actually, I don't remember the last time that I used it since I did the unboxing. It might have been a reading or two, but honestly, I don't remember. Anyway, more importantly, I'm going to connect to my team and my spirits, and we're going to pull 4 cards and see what they have as a message for us this week. Alright, let's see what we've got. We have... looks like the Lovers. The 4 of Swords. The Hierophant. And Temperance. This is a very powerful week, everybody. We've got 3 major arcana making an appearance. Let's just get them in how we like them. There's the particular way to do this spread, so let's get them all set. Alright, this is the cards for the week. Let's take a look at them one by one, and then we'll put them together for the whole picture. Okay, so the cards for this week. Normally, I don't go through the book for them. I just go off intuition and, honestly, memory. But this is a pretty special deck, in that the major arcana have little sayings or prayers to the Egyptian gods and goddesses. So I just want to read out of the book real quick the 3 major arcana cards that came out, and then we will go into our reading, just because this is a special deck that actually does that. So let's take a look at them. Our first card here on the left, right over here, is the Lovers, and it says, "He who turns the day and balances power to Egypt, Horus and his wife Hathor, who tends to our hearts with emotions. Please help guide us to make decent choices in matters of love and partnership." And it says its meanings here for the upright, because these are all going to be upright, are desire, passion, and loyalty. Then we're going to skip the 4, and we're going to go over here to the Hierophant. And it says, "Hail to the divine king of kings, Osiris, who taught the Egyptians agriculture and gave structure to the wilderness of men. Guide me through my daily life. May my actions align with my teachings." And it says upright, it's about lessons, divine connections, and receiving messages. It's the Hierophant, or otherwise known as the High Priest. It is the male version to the High Priestess. It's all about spirituality and tradition and teaching and learning. So it makes sense to have Osiris there. And then lastly, at the end right here, over here on the right, this is going to be the words just escaped my mind. Temperance. There we go. And let's see what that one has to say. It says, "Hold back the floods from the Nile, dear Happy. Allow the fields to sustain us with nourishment. Let us recognize the balance between the wilds and the fields, so that all creatures continue to exist." And it says upright, moderation, spiritual transformation, and blending. So those are pretty cool messages. They're usually, like, as you could kind of tell, most of them were little prayers, but each one to, like, different gods. So this is supposed to be here. This is Horus, and this is his wife Hathor. And this is normally an angel, but I believe they replaced it with a pharaoh. That could be Ra or Amun or whomever. It doesn't really say. It could just be a pharaoh. This one, of course, is the 4 of Swords. We'll get to that. This one is the Lord of the Underworld, Osiris, who is Osset, or Isis's wife, and the father to Horus. So we've got 2 of the family members present. And then we have Happy here, who rules over the Nile. So it was kind of cool that you had prayers and little messages about each one in there. So moving on to our reading for this week. It's really going to be a pretty powerful week in the sense that 3 major arcana cards showed up, but if we take a look at each one, and piece this all together bit by bit. The first card in our spread, the one farthest to the left, is about the energy of the week. So if you had to, say what in one card or in one word, what the week's energy would be, it would be this 6. It would be the lovers. And so that's about unity and partnership and romance and love. And that could be for you, like physically, like literally, because sometimes the spirits talk very literally. So that could be about relationships and partnerships and things like that. But this to me is much more, I would say world stage, but that makes it sound like it's not as personal. It's much more galactic, or it's much more bigger picture, in the sense that this week is talking about unionship, talking about partnership. That lovers there doesn't necessarily have to be with an outward party. It can be with just one person. It can be a coming back or a coming home or a coming to oneself or becoming whole with oneself. And being that we have the Hierophant present here, and then we have Temperance on the end, this is saying that this week is going to be very heavily spiritually charged. Now, we're just fresh off a solar eclipse that happened just on Saturday, the 14th. And that eclipse was all about shedding and all about letting go and all about getting rid of what doesn't serve us anymore. So now we can move forward and we can get ourselves prepared for the lunar eclipse coming up on the 28th, which will be in the North Node, which will be about bounty and receiving and more and expansion and growth. Now that we've done all of the cleaning and all of the work, we can be preparing ourselves for the receiving, because Spirit can't give us things if we don't have the room to receive it with. And we had to go through a period of cleansing and making space and making room, so that now this week and the weeks to come, right, because these eclipses are 6 months out, you can feel the energy from this. So all the cleansing probably wasn't done over the weekend, right? You'll still be going as we move forward here, and you'll have both eclipses energies kind of overlapping each other for about 2 weeks up into 6 months from now. So that's well into like the spring of next year for those of you in the northern hemisphere. For those of you in the south, just flip it, right? You're in the spring now, it'll go up into the autumn. So now that we've cleansed, Spirit is saying here now that we can receive. Now, so the energy of this week is all about union and partnership. And this partnership, I feel, is more a partnership with the universe, with Spirit, with Source, with God, Goddess, whatever you call it. It's that divine connection, and a connection back to ourselves to become whole again. And then we have the Four of Swords here. Let's actually talk about this guy for a minute. The Four of Swords is about resting easy and having a peaceful mind. Now, it can be about not wanting to be involved and putting your head in the sand, but it can also be about being relaxed and at ease and at peace. And that to me is what it is here, right? There's nothing else, nothing around it that suggests that the Four of Swords here is cowering or hiding. Though you could, right? You very well could read this as some of you out there might not be ready or might not want to look at what Spirit's showing you. You might not want to do the cleansing work. And you could be putting your head in the sand, right? I mean, we could all do that from time to time. So Spirit could be calling you out here this week in a sense of like, not chastising, right? This isn't like angry God energy. This is, hey, look at this. Now, I mean, Spirit can't force you to do anything, right? You have to make the choice to do the work yourself. But they're going to be putting it in your face to say, hey, this really should be looked at, and it's up to you to make that choice. But on the flip side of this, in which I think this card is actually representing this week, the Four of Swords is someone who is relaxing, So the energy is partnership. The known this week, I think Spirit is telling you to take this week off. Like, of course, we all still have jobs and responsibilities and things to do, so like we still have to work. I'm not saying like stay in bed all week, but spiritually, mentally, emotionally, just take the week off. Rest, recuperate, process what happened over the weekend, over this last coming period. I mean, we've been dealing with these themes and preparing for this eclipse since July. So, we deserve a week off. We deserve a little bit of a break, especially mentally. There's a lot of craziness going on in the world. So just take a minute, breathe, and relax. And then we have the card that's in our subconscious position, which is our Hierophant. Now, this is represented by the Lord Osiris, ruler of the underworld and the wife of Osset. But in this sense, he's the spiritual teaching. So this is where I said, and then if you pair, honestly, we'll just pair these two cards together. This would be the Temperance card, right? This is the pairing of two worlds, right? Because they're in normally 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land. And the Nile River was their source of life and energy, and water was very important. So, and as you can see, the setting sun, it's like in a liminal space between the two worlds. So you pair this together with someone who literally rules the underworld, and what the meaning is of the Hierophant with Temperance here. This is the universe coming in to give spiritual guidance, to give spiritual teaching, to give knowledge, to give wisdom, to give direction, to say, good job. We've made it through that major eclipse portal. But I think I read something that said like this isn't going to happen again, I think in the United States until like 2048. Like this was a very, very rare eclipse over the South Node in Libra. Eclipses only happen in signs, not very frequently, right? Eclipses happen every year, but it's not very often that it happens in Libra. So for all of this to pair together is quite striking. So this is about spiritual teaching and guidance. And this week, honestly, just to wrap this all up, Spirit wants us to take a break, to breathe, to rest our minds, to get ourselves ready, get ourselves prepared, because next week is the lunar eclipse, right? Round 2. This time it'll be in the North Node. But Spirit is getting us ready this week for a major spiritual upgrade, a major energetic upgrade, right? We're going to be getting a lot of downloads, a lot of messages, and we're going to be straddling the worlds. I mean, not only do we have these eclipses, but the 31st, right? Halloween or Samhain, the veils are at their thinnest. Energy is flowing around, right? Everything's still going to be a little buzzed, a little crazy from the two eclipses, right? We just came out of one, going into one again next week. We're about to move into Scorpio season next Monday. The sun will move signs, and it's a whole new shift there on how we look at things, how we do things, what's illuminated, right? Mars is now super powered, being freshly in Scorpio, so we'll keep an eye on that. But there's a lot of energy that is moving into Scorpio. Like Mercury will join them on the 22nd. That's all next week. We'll talk about that next week. But just know that Spirit really wants you to get yourself ready, to be prepared. Whether you don't have to receive it, right? You can put your head in the sand. You can say, no, I'm not ready. Thank you. Please pass me on. Or you can rest and you can prepare and you can accept and you can process, right? This is a week of processing and preparing and resting. So I'm excited to see what Spirit has for us in the coming weeks and how these eclipses play out, how Samhain plays out. And I wish you all the best of luck and have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Until then, bye.